Now, I'm not one to gossip, but I will bring you the tea. Welcome to Chronicle Speaks.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Look at you.
Monique has been very vocal in the past about where she stands with certain people in Hollywood, and many believe what others were saying about her as far as her being difficult to work with and very undeserving of the things that she's received. Now, we all remember the movie Precious and Monique's role in Precious. Monique did an absolutely remarkable job, so much so she won an Oscar for this role. However, she was only paid $50,000 for the movie. This was an independent film, and Monique knew that. So this movie was never about the money. Monique did this movie for her friend Lee Daniels, who directed the film. Now, speaking of this film, it did so well in the box office. The first weekend, it made $1.8 million. By February of that same year, it had grossed $47 million. Crazy. Okay, so what a lot of people did not know is Monique was given 5% of that movie. So whatever the movie made, Monique was supposed to receive 5% of that. $10 million is what it cost to produce the movie. The movie made $47 million, so that would be a net profit of $37 million. 5% of that, Monique was supposed to get $1.85 million. Monique did not get that. Monique got $50,000. Now, your girl Monique was quiet. It took a few years before she really got down to the nitty-gritty on what was happening. Now, Monique was supposed to travel to the Cannes Film Festival to promote Precious, but because she wanted to spend time with her husband and children, she didn't go. Now, Lee Daniels said that she had too many demands and became upset that she did not thank him as a producer or the studio at the Oscars when she won the Oscars. Now, she did thank Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry for what she called touching the film, but Lee Daniels' name was nowhere in it. I'm telling you, this thing with Monique has been a complete mess. She has been blackballed ever since. Not only is she not receiving the same roles that she was getting before, but she's been denied roles. She was supposed to play Cookie Lyons in Empire, but that got snatched, although some people on the show said that that was never true. And in many instances, Monique has been offered a lot less than her female counterparts. But again, because it was already put in your mind that she was very difficult to work with, that's what people have been going with, and they've been agreeing to it until Monique got into the nitty-gritty of what's been going down, and now everybody sees what she's saying. Not too long after this blackballing had commenced, Monique was contacted by Oprah. Oprah let it be known that she was wanting to interview Monique's brother. Monique's brother had admitted to molesting Monique in the past. Now, Oprah is in this thing for the views. She requested Monique be on the show as well so they can clear the air, but Monique was not here for it. She stated that her brother was only in it for the money and Monique wanted no parts of it. Oprah let it be known that if you're not okay with it, I won't do it. Monique was happy. She was like, you know what? This is a real broad right here. She really got my back. Monique did not know that that same back that she thought Oprah had, she got stabbed in it by Oprah. Oprah is cool with Lee Daniels. She was in the movie The Butler. All of this is coinciding with each other. This blackballing has commenced and Monique has no clue about it at the time. Now, before they end their conversation over the phone, like I said, Monique is looking at her like, okay, this is a real woman right here. Now, she had a talk with Oprah and let Oprah know that she was falling out with her mother. Her and her mother were not talking at all. It was some issues over finances and things like that. They weren't cool. Oprah didn't let it be known that she was going to interview Monique's mother, her father, and another brother with the brother that molested her. Oprah, being the clever interviewer that she is, knew how to get into Monique's head at the time. She started telling her different things about her mother. Monique shared things about her mother, and Monique left that conversation thinking she was cool with Oprah and thinking Oprah was cool with her. That was up until the commercial for the interview came out, and Monique saw that not only was her brother sitting on the couch when Oprah said she wasn't going to interview with him anymore, the brother was on the couch, the mother was in attendance, the father was in attendance, and a whole nother brother was in attendance. Needless to say, your girl Monique was livid, and rightfully so.
Where Oprah Winfrey and I have a problem is Oprah Winfrey called us up and she said my brother wanted to come on the show and talk about him molesting me, and he wanted to tell other parents how to look out for molesters. My brother Gerald is a charmer. So my mind thought was, because she said, do you want to come on? I said, I don't want nothing to do with that cat. I said, nigga, I know it's up to a scam, but people can change. And who am I to say he hasn't changed? It might really be different. So I don't want to get in the way of that. I just don't want nothing to do with it. She said, if you don't want me to have your brother on the show, I will cancel the show. No show will happen. But I wanted to call you up to see how you felt first. When I hung up that phone, brother, I looked at my husband. I said, that bitch is all right with me. That's a real.
She kept it because
she didn't have to call me up. She didn't have to say my brother was coming. She could have just ran with shit and let it happen. I dig her for that. Now I begin to see commercials with my brother, my mother, my father, and my other brother. Now the reason why that means so much is because in the conversation we had about my brother, we then went deeper. And we began to talk about our relationships with our mothers and our fathers. And I shared my relationship with her about my mother, as she shared hers with me, which I will never repeat because she shared it with me about her mother and father. It might be something she shared with everybody, but wanted to make me feel special. I don't know. Nonetheless, it was in our moment. I shared with her that me and my mother was not talking. I shared with her we were in a really bad place. I shared with her I was hurt and, trying to figure this thing out. She never said my mother was coming on that show, because had Oprah Winfrey said, I'm going to have your mother, I would have said, shut it down. I don't need the world seeing how greedy my mother is. Shut that down. That's one of the reasons why we don't communicate, because of my mother and father's greed. So if you had given me the opportunity, I would have said, I can't put my mother, that's still my mother.
Right.
Okay? Now here comes this show. And here comes the commercials. And now I'm starting to see my mother and my father and my other brother, who was my manager. We didn't discuss that, Oprah. Well, when it was all said and done, Oprah Winfrey calls me. And in that moment, I was still stuck in, this is Oprah Winfrey. How do I say, you had my mother, my father, my other brother, and I'm stuck in that moment. And when we hung up that phone, my husband looked at me and said, what's wrong with you? That's not what we made of. You know how you felt about that and how you feel about that. And you need to let that woman know, I don't care about a title and a position. That's not what you cut from. So it was my obligation to let Oprah Winfrey know how I really felt. See, this is why me and Oprah Winfrey got a problem.
It's still there.
Until that woman says, let me apologize to you publicly, it'll be to the day I leave this earth. Because what you did was malicious, and it was intentional, and it was ugly.
If Oprah was watching this, what would you tell her?
I would say, Oprah Winfrey, you know what you need to do, and stop hiding behind what you call was negative comments, what you call, oh, I don't even deal with things like that, because what people are beginning to do is see you for who you are.
Again, when Monique was going through this boycott Netflix, all that was in a lot of people's minds is that she is difficult to work with, not knowing that all of this was going on behind the scenes. But now that she has come forward, I know this is a lot off of her shoulders, off her back. It probably feels good to release all of this. And the person that she's explaining is an evil individual. What Oprah did was straight up wrong. And it just goes to show, if you're not kissing butt in Hollywood to get to where you need to be, you're gonna be stagnant, unfortunately, and that's crazy. But I definitely appreciate Monique for taking a stance, and her husband being by her side to let her know, baby, you ain't gotta put up with this. We're good, and I got you. Monique is not putting up with all that nonsense, and she's calling it exactly how she sees it. What I need you guys to do is leave a comment. Tell me what you feel about Monique voicing her opinion. Shout out to Comedy Hype for definitely killing the interview. He did a wonderful job. Check him out on YouTube. His link will be below. Y'all, let's light these comments up. I'll see you down below. Now, before I end this video, I want to tell you about a company called Ash Kicking. Now, you know your girl Chronicles would not promote a company without doing one of those thorough Chronicle Speaks investigations, honey, and Ash Kicking definitely passed the test. Y'all make sure to check out ashkicking.com for one of the best 100% natural home fragrance and beauty products, honey, and use my code Chronicles at checkout for an extra 15% off just for you. Also, make sure to check out XMoisture, which is a 100% organic moisturizer that destroys all your skin problems. Eczema, dry skin, rosacea, you name it, they got you covered. They also have before and after pictures. Check them out at www.xmoisture.com and tell them your girl Chronicle sent you. And before you go, don't forget to hit the bell for notifications, like this video, and subscribe. And we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.